In fact, Rishabh is joining us from Tel Aviv at this time live. Great to have you with us, Rishabh. What's the mood over there? Because like we heard Nir Barkat tell you as well, there is a lot of common areas in which India and Israel, they have collaborated, and there is more that can be expected. But when you asked him about defense, of course, he said none of that can be discussed in media. But it's an important piece to understand that Israel views India as a friend like the US, is what he mentioned. So what's the mood that you're catching over there? Because one of our guests was telling us that it's extremely positive. Whatever they were hearing from Nir Barkat sounded very positive to them.
Right. I think, Vikram, the mood is extremely jubilant. They've gone behind, and both sides have actually surpassed all expectations when it comes to the speed with which these TORs have been finalized. In fact, I've been given to understand that this was originally not a part of this agenda, but given that I've been here in Tel Aviv, we've seen the sort of back and forth that has happened between both the sides, and the rush that both the sides have had to actually finalize this, and the way how it's done very amicably is definitely something to talk about. The camaraderie that both commerce ministers share is it's heartening to see the sort of collaboration that the potential that lies between the two economies, right? Of course, there are a few very clear areas of collaboration that both of them spoke about. Advanced technology is something that Israel is an expert in, and scale, manufacturing at scale, that is something that India is an expert at, and it is a no-brainer to actually combine both of them. The Israeli minister is very, very bullish on Make in India. That is something that he really, really appreciated, the Make in India project that was started by Prime Minister Modi. That is something he said that he's looking for a lot of Israeli companies to actually go and set up industries in India. He said, if there needs to be large-scale manufacturing that needs to be done, it does not make sense for it to happen in Israel, given the high costs of labor, high costs of production. But in India, you have a chance of really, really building it, manufacturing it at a price that is much cheaper, and it also will be built at a scale that you cannot imagine would be done in Israel. Another very important point was the fact that the current bilateral trade between India and Israel stands at roughly $6.5 billion. When asked what is the target after this free trade agreement comes into place, the Israeli minister said that you can simply multiply that by 10. So within the next 10 years, you can easily expect the bilateral trade to go from about $6.5 billion to $65 billion. And that is something that was reaffirmed by India's commerce minister as well. There's a lot of chatter about private sector deals that might happen between India and Israel in two sectors mainly. One is defense and the other is infrastructure. Tel Aviv, which is where I am right now, is set to get a metro network, and that is roughly worth about $50 billion. And what the Israeli government is looking for is to get more and more Indian contractors to bid for this particular project. So you'll have the likes of L&T, Afcons, a lot of these very large Indian conglomerates to actually go international and actually win projects outside. And these are not small projects. These are lakhs and crores of rupees that we're talking about. So a definite win that might be on the cards for a lot of Indian manufacturers, a lot of Indian companies. Nir Barkat also said that he's open to a lot of joint ventures between India and Israeli companies, and these companies to set up manufacturing in India. So Israel, a definite proponent of the Make in India program, and that is something that we're seeing. These negotiations have been kicked off in a very, very positive manner, and now we look forward to the actual formal negotiations starting off.
Rishabh, we heard you ask the minister about the next steps, and perhaps we are likely to see the next contingent come in from the Israeli side. He said the ministers don't need to be involved, but that is going to be the process that they're going to follow. So in terms of the engagement and the terms of reference being set, but right now, while you're over there, there has been this large business contingent that has gone with Piyush Goyal at the helm. and you've been watching the kind of discussions that have been taking place. I believe you spoke to the management of Amul, and then there was, of course, Mr. Memani, someone else, the CII president, also was speaking. So tell us about these conversations and the large business contingent engaging with business partners, perhaps in Israel. What are those discussions like?
Right. I think the only word that I would say is positive, given the fact that the direction that these discussions are set in are quite positive. What we're seeing is that a lot of these companies are actually coming to India, coming to Israel. A lot of Indian companies coming to Israel, not just to boost their own exports, but to actually take away a lot of technology transfers. That is something that is also a cornerstone of this particular FTA once it comes up. And this will be a big part of the deal once it actually fructifies. But what we're seeing is that you'll have the likes of Amul, you'll have the likes of Asian Paints, all of them inculcating a lot of technology, a lot of advanced technology that is already operational in Israel. In Israel, you have a lot of robotics, you have a lot of quantum computing, you have a lot of artificial intelligence that is already integrated into certain manufacturing processes, certain research and development processes. Remember, R&D is something, as a country, Israel does about 6.5% of its GDP. It invests into R&D. For India, that number is less than 1%. So there is a lot of difference that both the countries have had when it comes to advancement of technology. So that is something that we're looking forward to. So far, no tangible deals have been signed between companies from both ends. But what we're seeing is that the ball has been set in the right direction, and we'll soon hear more on this, given the fact that the formal FTA negotiations will also kickstart very soon.
All right, Rishabh, that's where we leave it. I hope you get some time off to enjoy Tel Aviv as well and see what Israel has to offer for tourists. But of course, at this point in time, we leave it there to be able to understand how much further the agenda between the two countries to strike an FTA can be pushed. That's Rishabh Bhatnagar, my colleague, reporting from Tel Aviv.